Hey guys, welcome back to MBTV. This video is about whether or not you should sleep with her, and I hope this video doesn't get me into trouble. So this is a pretty wide topic for the main reason of being, there's no real, there's a lot of information out there on whether or not to sleep with somebody, but as far as when and why and how, it kind of is hard to kind of put it all together. And in this video, from start to finish, we're gonna really get to the bottom of this and figure it out for you and create like a system for you to really navigate yourself and these experiences and how to think about them in a different kind of way. So partially today, we're gonna talk about kind of like a background of being intimate with somebody, what kind of motives you will have when you want to sleep with somebody, and then we're going to talk about 7 different areas that are going to be very important in understanding about yourself, when to approach on how to sleep with somebody, or when the right time is, or if you should even do it, and then we're going to go into some questions that you'll be able to ask yourself, at the end of the day, are these, going through these questions, should I sleep with this person? This is a really big area for the main reason that a lot of guys out there, they don't really think twice about sleeping with somebody nowadays, especially younger generations, millennials specifically, where it's also an age thing as well, where as you get older, you definitely appreciate who you share not only your time with, but with yourself, who you share yourself with. When you're at a younger age, you are more prone onto impulse and you want to explore, and as you get older, you kind of ask yourself more and more if you should do this or do that. And when it comes to sleeping with women, it's no different. So I believe solely that if you want to create a very fulfilling long-term relationship, the system that we're going to be talking about today is definitely going to help you. If you also want a relationship, if you're in the dating phase, this is also a really good video for you, because it's going to really shed light on the power of sex and whether or not you should, do have it with somebody, or expose yourself, or how to create value with it when the time is right. So I believe that there is a time and there is a place to when you want to sleep with somebody. There's a process to dating, and if you're on the exact opposite spectrum, if you want to just have short-term encounters, then that's totally fine as well. That game is a lot easier. It's just casual hookups and spending your time more with people that you just want to spend time with and that you enjoy spending time with these people. It's just more on an intimate level. But generally speaking, having sex with somebody is a very personal thing, and I don't care who tells you otherwise. Sex is very profound, and it affects you and your body in a very dramatic way, in a very essential kind of way. Sex is healthy, but at the same time, you need to share your sex life and sleep with people that really matter. And the golden kind of idea is that you would only really want to share yourself with somebody who you developed a bond with, and that you feel that at this certain point you're ready for it. And this is going to get into the 7, we're going to have the 7 areas to really get into this, but I really wanted to emphasize that for everybody out there watching this video, that you're a guy and you're thinking just right off the top of your head, do you want to sleep with this girl? Really ask yourself if you really feel like you're synchronized, if you feel that there's chemistry there. As far as long-term, short-term, I'm not going to go into short-term in this video too much. I will say that what really matters is that the sharing that you have, the connecting that you do with this person, it means something. And that also remember that everybody has their own kind of way and process to getting up to the moment of sleeping with somebody. Everybody has their own stages of when they're ready. We take in consideration that there's a lot of like spiritual tonality to having a sexual experience. You're not just sharing your bond with somebody, you're sharing emotions and mentalities and and it arises like a certain kind of intimacy. And when you take that all away, especially in the day and age that we live in, where a lot of it's just like a hookup culture. We can do whatever we want. We have accessibility to anybody we want, and we can talk to, and you can have as many women to talk to and have flings with. But at the end of the day, it's all about discovery and looking for what you want, putting yourself on the right track, and then having more fulfilling sexual encounters with people that really matter. And that's kind of like my background. I believe that getting to know somebody is very important, and even in short term, you're able to have very intimate and profound moments with somebody, and it truly means something. Hookup culture, also isn't, you have to look at both sides of the spectrum. You have one side of hookup culture and the culture that we exist in today, with social media and accessibility, and you have to see that, it's abused. There's a lot of men abusing and taking advantage of and not really understanding their place in it all. And then there's going to be the guy who likes to just learn and understand and meet new women and explore them and explore those experiences. And on both spectrums, on this range, authenticity can be found in both short term and long term. It's all about how you approach these experiences and what they mean to you and what you're looking for. The entirety of this idea of should you sleep with this girl or not, it really depends on your motive. And if you don't have a motive, then you need to discover the motives that you have. You need to understand why you're going to want to have this sex. Is it just because you want to release? Is it because you have built up energy? Is it because you want to share yourself with this person because she really matters to you? So there's going to be a lot of different areas that we'll be focusing on. I hope this kind of outlook gives you a different perspective on whether or not you should sleep with someone. So let's get into the 7 different areas. The first area that we're going to be talking about is trust. Now, trust is obviously essential to sleeping with somebody or deciding whether or not you should. If you're dating a girl or you're going on a couple dates and you're wondering whether or not, when should I sleep with her? You have to ask yourself, is it long term or short term? Do you trust yourself? Do you trust her? Energetically to kind of synchronize with each other. This is really important because when you share this experience, you want to feel vulnerable. And there's a lot of trust and there's a lot of trusting in the other person that you'll be able to express your emotions. You'll be able to feel the total experience. You'll be able to be vulnerable to the other person and kind of submit to a sense of freedom, in that sense, a freedom of being with this person without walls up, without being totally open, which is another one, which is another area. And trust is really important because it builds on the relationship that you're forming with this person. If you're dating somebody, the more and more you synchronize with them sexually, the more you establish this trust, and the more presence you have in this situation, the more it's going to build. So you have to ask yourself, do you trust yourself to be a good example in this situation, to really create like a proactive and positive experience for both of you? And do you think she's going to do the same? Trust works both ways, and you need to establish if you can trust her or not. Trust her or not with your body, and whether or not you can trust yourself with her body, and do justice for both in that experience. The next topic is intimacy. Now, I briefly went over this just before, but intimacy is very important. Intimacy involves communication, verbal communication. It involves physical communication. It involves secrets. It involves eliciting a sense of passion and expression and being present with this person that you're going to be having sex with, the person you'll be sleeping with. And it's very important for you to understand that not only do you have to trust this person, but there has to be some sense of intimacy. You don't want to sleep with somebody that you don't feel drawn to, that you don't feel connected to. This can lead to a lot of confusion after the fact, and you don't want to go down that route. You want to make sure that you're synchronized, effectively with this person. You want to make sure that this woman feels the intimacy and presence that you have to offer, and you feel it as well. it would be a red flag if you didn't feel that, a certain level of depth between both of you. Part of why sexual experiences are so pleasurable, not just for the physical aspect of sex. It's because you're allowed into the door of the other person. You're allowed to kind of be and mix with that other person in a different way, in a way that's really heartfelt and loving almost. And there's a part to them that they are expressing. Sex is a very powerful experience, and it shares with you a lot of who the other person is, and vice versa. So before you sleep with somebody, you should ask yourself, are you ready to have sex with this person? Are you ready to pursue the standard that is what intimacy is required for a sexual experience? Can you be intimate? Can you be trusting and trust this person? These are two very really important questions to ask when you ask yourself before you sleep with somebody. And intimacy, at the end of the day, it brings a lot to the table, not just for sex. One of the founding one of the grounding aspects of creating, establishing, and maintaining a really healthy relationship is intimacy, in the ways that I have just talked about. Intimacy plays a really big role in whether or not a relationship succeeds or fails. Now, this one's kind of a given, but if you're going to share yourself physically and emotionally and spiritually and mentally, you got to be open for it. If you don't believe that you're open, and you don't believe that you're ready to have sex with somebody, and you believe that there's a lot of struggle and moving forward, you can either talk about it with your partner or really go over what's really going on with you. Of all the topics that we're going to be talking about in this video, there's going to be a lot to think about when it comes to openness and readiness to having sex. What's holding you back? Ask yourself these deep questions, because they're going to lead to roadblocks or challenges maybe for the future, and that tackling them in this situation is going to be really paramount to your growth with this girl. Part of the openness and readiness and all the things that I'm talking about, it really has to play with the time that you're allotting to get to know this person. And there should be a lot of getting to know and experiencing this person, going on dates. If you're really looking for long term, then realistically you should really hold off on having sex until you no longer have to think about it, in the sense that it's something needed. Typically, you'd want to wait anywhere between 1 month to 3 months. Part of what I believe is that everybody has their own approach to when all of these 7 areas are aligned. They're all matched up at different time intervals. And so the question isn't really a matter of when to have sex with somebody. It's a matter of should I, or it's just really a matter of should I, and is this a good time for me? And it really matters on, in regards to your readiness, really, in regards to all these 7 things, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You got to make sure that you're ready to have this experience. You definitely want to make sure that you are secure in these situations. You want to make sure that you feel that you're going to not only enjoy the experience, but you're also ready and able to share yourself with this person in that moment, and that you're not going to tie any negative associations with her and the experience with her from the get-go. And a lot of people miss that. It's really easy to associate different thoughts and expressions and emotions and ideas with things that come into your life, because it can be positively or negatively reinforced. And so when you think about having sex with somebody, you want to make sure that in this experience, you want to be secure in the sense that if something, you want to make sure that you not only enjoy the situation and you don't just explore and become intimate and share and be passionate with this person. We want to make sure that you're creating an environment and a future environment with this person, energetically and environmentally, that is going to be positive. You don't want to set yourself up for something like, God forbid, something happens, in the middle of sex and with this person, and you have like a negative influence. Now you have like a negative association with the experience because something happened. And things happen all the time, but it's not a big deal. And you should learn from whatever happens in that situation and learn faults and and where you have to go next with that experience. Like something happens to you with somebody within that experience, maybe you've had an idea that, or you've had the situation where you've had an idea where you didn't want to have sex with somebody, or made you feel a certain way, or put you off in a certain way for X, Y, and Z. And it really matters on how you approach the situation, and how you enjoy yourself, and how you build on this relationship, this different dimension to your relationship with this person in this experience. And so it's really important that you are secure when you approach sex with somebody, because it creates the snowball to either a positive or negative experience later down the road. Obviously, this is another given, but you want to make sure that it feels right, and that you're emotionally not only in a good place, but you're in a healthy place. You're emotionally in a place where this is something that you want, because it's going to be a sharing. It's something that both of you are growing together in, and you want to be able to express yourself emotionally with your feelings in this experience to some extent. It could be harder for some people than others. This is really where you'd want to let loose and explore yourself, and explore your sexuality, and really get an understanding of who you are with this person, and who you are, and the actions that you have, and overall who you are with this experience. And in regards to your emotions, you want to understand how it feels to you. You want to make sure that before you sleep with this person, that you're emotionally in a good place, you're emotionally balanced, and that you have to ask yourself, why do you want to have sex with this person? In regards to it, does it have to do with your emotions, your feelings? Is this something you're desiring, or is there something you're trying to fill a void to? You want to make sure you approach the experience with this person in a right way, because odds are, if we're talking about this video, it's going to be your first time having sex with this person, or maybe you've had situations where it wasn't the best the first couple of times, and you want to correct it now, and you want to approach it in a better way. So you want to make sure that you're healthy in these areas that, of course, I'm talking about. You want to make sure that you're going to be able to express and give a standard of yourself, and share with this person partially who you are within this experience. Most of the time, sex has to do with sharing yourself and exploring each other, and having fun in the meantime. You want to make sure that in all these areas you find balance, and you ask yourself, am I emotionally balanced right now to have sex with somebody? It's totally okay to reject the experience that you don't want to have sex, because you're not in a good place, and that's actually a very mature and responsible thing. It's not just women who can say, no, I don't want to have sex. You're allowed to not have sex because you may be in a certain place. And a woman would really find this not just attractive in a different sense, but they would find this really valuable and mature from you, because you're exploring yourself and what it means to you to have sex with this person. And it shows that you respect with this person, which is one of the areas that we'll be talking about. It shows a different light in your responsibility about how you share yourself with this person. The last two that we're going to be talking about are appreciation and respect, and I'm going to bring them both up hand in hand, because they kind of go together. You got to appreciate yourself. You got to have respect for yourself, self-worth and love before you have any kind of experiences with somebody. And before you share yourself with this woman that you're thinking about, you definitely have to appreciate and respect her as well. And this is actually really big, because I feel like a lot of men miss this. They treat and objectify women, and that's not really the healthy route to seeing this. Part of the idea is that you want to respect and appreciate yourself. That's what really creates the value. And you also want to make sure that they are withheld, they're holding up their part of their respect, their self-respect, and their self-appreciation. And you want to make sure that there's a challenge to it, right? There's kind of like a pursuit or a venturing towards this woman that you're wanting. And a lot of this is fueled by desire. It's fueled by really liking her maybe. And you want to make sure that it's a challenge, and that you respect yourself and appreciate yourself, and say to yourself, I want to sleep with this girl, but is it the right thing to do? Do I respect myself enough to say that this is a good decision? Do I respect her to say that she's in a good place, and I believe that she's earned this experience with me. You have to ask and engage in this kind of way, because people often forget to appreciate yourself and the other person, and that you're creating something together. All the people in the world that you could have met, it's her or him. If you're a girl watching this, you want to be able to really value and appreciate the presence and all the experiences that you've had with this person, because in the day and age that we're living in now, especially where I'm residing, there's a lot of situations where, especially through online dating, you meet somebody a couple of times, and then you don't meet somebody, and they fall off, or they ghost you, which pretty much means that they just stop talking to you altogether. And so you want to make sure that this woman is feeling appreciated, and that you feel that you're also being respected. You're being respected. Your time's being respected. Your presence is being respected. You have appreciation. You are being appreciated by this person, and you want to make sure that all these 7 things are being regarded and known in a certain way. That's these 7 different areas. The next area that I'm going to be talking about are the different questions that you should ask yourself, and we've covered a couple of them, but I just want to go over some and then get through these, because they're really important in asking yourself, should I have sex with this person? First question that you really should be asking is, do I want long-term or a short-term? Do you want to be with this person for a long time? Do you see yourself being in a relationship with this person in the future? If so, then you should hold off on having sex and make sure that everything that I talked about in this video is balanced, maintained, and approached and thought of before you have sex with somebody. You're gonna have your own time to when you want to have sex with somebody. Everybody has a different kind of time frame. Remember, it's not time based. It's the all these factors that play a role and whether these needs are met, right? All these different areas are met before you have sex with somebody. If it's short term, it's a different approach. Long term, it's really about enjoying yourself in the moment and being intimate. There's a focus on the intimacy and the communication and the appreciation and the respect factor going long term. So both have different focuses, but you want to definitely ask this question. The next question is, will you both grow together as a result from your sexual experience? Now, if this is somebody you know or you haven't known too well, you have to ask yourself, if this is long-term, if this is somebody you see yourself with going forward, you have to ask yourself, is the sex that I'm about to have with this person gonna be, as a result to this sex, it's gonna allow us to grow together? And this is such an important idea, because sex is a bonding experience. It's not just a pleasurable experience, but you're getting more of a full-rounded view of who this person is and how they are with you chemically, right? How you both, mixed in the pot, how you both are. And going forward, if you want a future with this girl, you're gonna want to make this. You want to have this experience very memorable and very authentic. First couple times with this person are very important, and they're valued, and they mean something, and it's important to emphasize that there should be a very meaningful connotation to these experiences. So you definitely gotta ask yourself if as a result of this sex, are you gonna both grow together? Another question you could ask yourself are, what are the repercussions of the sex that I want with this person? If I sleep with this person right now, what is going to happen? Well, there's a lot of different situations that are out there. You could be with, you can want to have sex with somebody who is like, a friend's friend, or an ex's friend, or a best friend's ex, and you're like, should I do it? And the idea is, you want to ask yourself, A, are there repercussions? If they're not, and this is just somebody that really means something to you, then go forward. Or B, if there are repercussions, what do those repercussions mean to me long term? Is this going to affect me in an ABC kind of way? And really ask yourself, is it worth it? Outweigh the odds with the urges, right? You have this urge, but is it right? Does it fit your value system to have sex with this person and then have consequences after? Does it make sense? Does it make logical sense? If it doesn't, odds are you should stay away. You have to remember, with these 7 different ideas that we talked about, between trust, intimacy, openness and readiness, appreciation, respect, and emotional, does it emotionally feel right? and insecurity, all these ideas really pan out into these questions, right? If all of these are being matched up, it really comes down to, are there repercussions? If there is, I would stay away. This one is very self-explanatory. Is there a need to release? Is there a need, other than wanting to get to know this person and sharing this experience and appreciating this person's present in that moment? Is it just like an urge that you want to have? Is it for some other reason other than just bonding? And if you're just looking to urge and release and and for short term, you got to ask yourself, because you have to remember, you affect this person when you have sex with somebody. You affect this person in a very profound way, and they may not show it, but after a while, it kind of gets stored in not only your memory, but it gets stored totally in your body and your emotional health and your mental health and your spiritual health. Every sexual relationship you have kind of matters in a very small or subtle way. Remember, if this is just a quick fix and you're just trying to get your urge out, you gotta ask yourself, I'm gonna be affecting the person that I'm having sex with, and if they know that I'm having this experience for X, Y, and Z, and they know it's not long term, you are responsible for inflicting, the kind of psychological kind of experience that they're going to have with this experience. And it's a very emotional experience for a woman as well as for men, and it's a very emotional and energetic experience in general. And it's almost like, do you want to set off the bomb, and are you ready for the bomb to kind of explode and have its repercussions on this person? And it's really important that you understand that there is a time and place to release your urges. At the end of the day, though, you definitely want to make sure that you're sleeping with somebody for the right reasons and the reasons that mean the most to you. The last question that we definitely covered is, are all these 7 areas that I above mentioned, are they being satisfied? Do you feel that you like this person? Do you believe that you can see yourself going forward with this person? Do you think it's going to mean something? Do you believe that you're going to have the trust, intimacy, everything that you're looking for? Obviously, this experience is going to build value with this person, and you're going to build value together, and you're going to share something very personal. You're sharing yourself, and you just got to make sure that you're kind of ready for this experience. So I hope a lot of what we talked about in this video helps you out. Choose whether or not you should have sex with this person or not. I totally bet that she's probably worth it, and that you just you may be kind of confused on if you should or maybe you should not. But the idea is that this is a really good kind of broken down way of looking into whether or not you should, and just sexual experiences in general, whether or not you should pursue them. And you always want to go for the meaningful and valuable experiences, and with the people that mean that it will mean the most to you, and that you see that it's going to give you a lot of good energy going forward. You see something rolling and something that's being built together, and that your time's not being wasted, and it's not just based off of urges. Ideally, you would want to make sure that this experience is authentic and personable. It's an expressive, enjoyable, and meaningful experience. And I talk about intimacy and respect before, and that all this is just tied into one experience. Just as much as it would mean the most to you, it's going to mean the most to her as well. And that taking into consideration all these different areas, it's a really good kind of compass and a way to gauge your sexual experiences, and to really understand how to maintain your own value when it comes to dating, and when to say no, and when to put yourself first in that regard. Because there are men out there who are taken advantage of, and there's women who are taken advantage of, and it's really because there's a lack of insight into this area. Thank you for tuning in for this video. I really hope that video kind of sheds some light on some different perspectives on how to approach this idea of when to sleep with her. If you have any comments about this video, please leave them down below. We'd love to see your feedback and see how you were affected by this video and how much it helped you, or maybe you have some input for other users in this community. So we would definitely appreciate that, and obviously like it and subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of content coming out. We're always releasing at least 2 to 3 videos a week now, whether it's dating, relationships, personal growth, personality, and MBTI, and an Enneagram. We have a lot of content between the three users that that are about this channel, me, Trey, and Damon. Always stay tuned, and if you sign up for the email and the newsletter listing on our website, you can see the content for the future rolling in, which will always actually give you insight to participating in our Sunday live streams. So if you sign up for our email list, you'll be able to see the content and what's going on with MBTV as we progress and kind of build. Aside from that, we have our Patreon account that we now have. Patreon is a patron service where if you believe in our content and you kind of care for what we're trying to put out there and educating other people and sharing personal development videos, that's a place where you can not only support us but also get some kind of reward system given back to you, and depending on how much you contribute, there's different reward tiers. So I would check out our Patreon account. There's a link in the description below to get more information about that. And of course, if you're interested in working with me, being a dating and relationship coach, I do work with a lot of men on not only this topic, but on a lot of other topics as well. So maybe you'd want to check out some of my other videos or check out my services page on my website. There'll be a link somewhere in this video to see what that's all about. And if you want to see, how to improve your dating and relationship life, if you are looking for maybe life or purpose coaching, Trey's really great at helping people, self-discover and really, get a sense of what's holding them back in their life. And obviously we have Damon, who's a master practitioner in MBTI and now NLP, and he also, works with typology and helps with typing people. With MBTI, and he's a business consultant and coach as well, so you can always ask for him as well, and see what we can do to really help you guys out in your life in the way that it matters most. So thank you again for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and if you have any feedback, we would love to see it. So I'll talk to you soon and see you on the next video. In here. And the topic for today is taking control of your dating life, and it starts right now. Even if you've been dating, this is going to be a really interesting dimension to add to your dating experience. So I'm going to let Damon kind of introduce himself and his role in today's session. So Damon.
All right, so everybody, it's Damon here, and today's topic obviously is dating, one of my favorite topics to talk about. If you decided to watch this over the debate, congrats, but